our Trey in there. We got him the ball. We got it off the sets. We got it off what we were doing and not off individual play. And that's why we scored so well. And then obviously he stepped up and made shots. And the amazing thing about this game, to me, is Urema, or however you pronounce his name, with about 2 minutes to go in the game, we cut it down to 3. And with no time on the shot clock, he's an 18% three-point shooter. Swishes a bomb to make it 76-70. And it was like, man, we've done everything, and players make plays. I was probably the only one on our bench that was worried about it. Everybody else played through it. We went down and we scored. We got the stop. We did all the things. Osei Price makes the steal of the year. And, in overtime, we made our first shot. Trey made a basket on the first possession. We didn't score again in overtime other than free throws. That's how you win. And so it's really an exciting day. I'll talk more about the comeback later. That's the opening statement. We'll go to them.
We'll open up for questions for the players. Trey, it says 6 double-doubles, second straight game with a double-double, career high in blocks. Blake, the same, career high in blocks, career high in points.
That has to be a career high in rebounds for him.
Career high in rebounds as well.
Pretty simple one for you, Blake. What changed? You guys were down. You guys were out. What changed?
We played for 40 minutes, 45 minutes tonight. But we play until the fat lady sings, Neil. We play until we kind of got away from that the last couple of games. But tonight, we truly believed it. We truly believed it, and then I knew we were going to win when Parker fouled out. I think there was like 2 minutes left, maybe. But when he fouled out, there was no down the line, and we were down by a good amount too. So that's the mindset. We're never out of it. 40 minutes, like I said tonight, 45 minutes, and we're gonna keep this thing going.
Trey, every free throw that you guys had to have coming down the stretch, you had to have them all, and you guys got them all. What goes through your mind when the game is hanging in the balance? What goes through your mind?
Those are just the moments that you practice for. You shoot free throws every day in practice. I missed my first 2 today, but once I made the next 2, it felt good coming out of my hands. So it's really just that, every single day you're going in, you want these moments to happen. You want to be the person to make the free throws for your team. And today everyone's making free throws, and that was just great to see.
Blake, like people always say that you're the shooter of the team and the shooter and things like that. You and I have talked privately before about how you've changed your body in the offseason defensively, what you've been able to do. I mean, you were a problem out there defensively today. When you look at the way, the anticipation, stepping in the lane, intercepting passes, the blocks as well. But how much has your defensive game grown this year?
I think it grew a lot. Like I said, right now it's kind of tough with this little bulky brace on my knee. But I feel fast. I'm starting to use my length a little better, and I understand our zone very well. So Campy, he likes to get guys in here that understand the zone, and I knew if I want to stay on the floor, I need to be able to defend. Campy told me my first ever practice here. I didn't practice the first couple of practices, but it was in the summer, and he told me I was getting torched one-on-one drills. First practice ever, and he said. I'm going to keep it PG, but he was like, you will never play here, son, if you cannot guard. So that's, since like that day, it's been my focus is just don't give him a reason to take me off the floor defensively, and I think I could be one of the best defenders in the league, honestly. I still got a lot of growth to do in my body. I'm still growing, I think, not necessarily this way, but I got some growth to do in the offseason, so I'm looking forward to it.
Like we all know, shooters make shots, and tonight you absolutely made shots. But even more than that, I think seeing you on the floor, you're doing those extra things. You talk about defense, but just those effort plays and all that. What does that do for you guys as a team when you're out there? We all know you're hurt, but you're still the one on the floor getting after that. Like, what does that say to the team?
I tried to be a spark plug. Last year I was coming off the bench, and when I came in 4 minutes into the game, I was trying to bring a spark. So that's just what I tried to do. I didn't have a lot of energy the last 3 games, and I got some good rest the last couple of days, and I was ready to go today. So we're going to keep this going and keep another win streak rocking.
Trey, for you, with a couple minutes left, you guys were still down, but we all kind of felt that momentum hopefully turn. We talked about Parker falling out. What do you say as a leader? We've talked before about you being a leader on this team. What do you say in that huddle? What are you saying on the floor to these guys to keep them motivated that, yeah, you can get back in this and finish this out the way you're all capable of?
We knew, like, those last 5 minutes we really locked in defensively, and it all came down to executing on the offensive end. And that's really, every time we come together, it's let's execute. And then once we're running those good plays on offense, our defense is still going to keep carrying us. And we were running some good plays, getting some great passes from Blake and Jalen, and it ended up helping us out for the win. So in those huddles, it's just execute and keep playing the hard defense that we've been playing.
Sure, you're a little bit of a historian as far as Oakland. You've been around this program for a while. Can you just talk about what it means to you to be on the floor and hear that arena really kind of get behind you all? And what does that feel for you just on the human side?
You know, I say it pretty much every time. It's just every single day I step on that court, it's a surreal feeling. I'm seeing my family still sitting in the same seats that I sat in when I was younger, so it's just kind of cool to, you know, look at them. You know, and I was there in high school, even up to my senior high school, I was still coming here. So just being a part of it, hearing the Grizzlies gang in the crowd, it's great. And then, like Blake said, being that spark plug, when he hits a shot, that place just erupts, and it's just, you know, a great feeling, gets us going all around. So it's overall, it's amazing.
Trey, you were really good on the defensive side of things tonight. You know, great, congratulations on the double-double. You know, when a game is so physical like it was tonight, you know, how do you handle that type of pressure knowing that you're going to have, you know, you guys were kind of outsized out there maybe when it came down to being in the post. So how do you handle that type of pressure knowing that, you know, you're more likely to draw, you know, the double team or just handle that pressure in the post?
I think it just starts defensively for me. I've been struggling offensively the past couple games, and I know I can 100% control my effort on defense and rebounding those plays. So the main emphasis for me has been rebounding, and just with how well I feel I've been rebounding, that's made me more positive on the offensive end. It's kind of just a whole mood thing. You know, our whole team starts on defense. If we're playing good on defense, it translates to good offense, and I'd say that's a strong thing for me.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, you played 44 of the 45 minutes in this game. How do you keep up the physicality and the energy in those late seconds?
It's just, especially playing at home, the crowd really just helps a lot. You know, the boost of adrenaline, every time someone makes a shot, the roars from the crowd, it just really keeps you in the moment. You know, if you're in an arena or in an away game when you're in these situations, just quiet when you make a big shot. But that's why it's great playing here. Everyone's loud every single game, and it keeps us playing the amount of minutes that we're all playing, and we love doing it.
I think the crowd had a lot to do with us, man.
No doubt.
You know, they could sense it with about 3 minutes to go, and every play we made got louder and louder. When you're on the floor, that is a tremendous motivating factor, and it beats fatigue. It really beats fatigue. We had a lot of guys play a lot of minutes tonight, and we'll rest them, and we'll be ready by Thursday.
Any other questions from in here? No, you two are good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice job, Trey.
Go ahead.
No, Cam, from your chair, what changed? You guys were dead in the water. What changed?
I don't think I view it as a change. I just, you know, it's like I said earlier, they said F it, you know, I mean, and they just, you know, we ran a great play and Trey had a layup and Urema came out of nowhere and blocked it. And you easily could have hung your head and say today's not our day, and they never did that. They just kept battling, and then when they made that little run to get ahead, our defense was awful, and it was, I think, because our offense was so bad, and I do think for a 3 or 4 minute period there, something, you know, was like, you know, we're done. And then in a timeout, we had a pretty loud timeout, and we're kind of yelling at each other. And we came out of that timeout, and a couple good things happened, and from that point on, I think they believed they were going to win the game, and the crowd really got into it, like I just said a minute ago. We executed, we kept telling them, guys, if you'll just do what we're telling you to do offensively, they cannot guard Trey in there. They can't. They couldn't guard him last year, and they can't guard him this year. And, you know, if you will just let it go and let it happen instead of breaking off the plays, because, see, they put, one of their things they do defensively really well is they pressure you immediately. But it's like a pane of glass, right? You hit that glass, and you either put your shoulder down and go through it, or you Well, for most part of that game, as soon as we hit the glass, we tried to break off and quit doing what we were trying to execute offensively. At one point, and I had made that comment about playing glass to him, and at one point during the timeout, Blake made the same comment, and it was like maybe they listened to him better than they listened to me, I don't know. No. But we started getting 2 second options. We started, and then once the second options were then the first options, they couldn't go double Trey. When Blake started making shots, and when Jalen kept driving to the rim, and when we, and Keaton made a 3, we started to understand what my concepts, what I'm talking about, and then, what did we score in the second half?
60.
How many points did we score in the second half?
62.
We scored 54 points in the second half, plus 10 in the overtime. We scored 64 points. We were on track not to score 64 for the game with 26, right? I mean, we're challenged. Think about the other night, how bad we were on offense. And all of a sudden, it came. Now, do they take it from here and go forward with this? If they do, and we can play offense the way we guard, we got a chance, right? But if we go back to, our offense is really stagnant. It's really, in this season, we've played some of the worst offense of any teams I've ever coached. And I don't get it because we have talented, we're not deep, but we have some talented offensive players. So hopefully tonight was a springboard forward. You win a game like this, it's got to push you forward.
And to follow that up, Cam, a lot like the win at Northern Kentucky, you've been around a long time. Do these wins feel extra good in that the other teams in the locker room saying, what the hell just happened?
No, because I've been in the other locker room and I know what that feels like, so I don't really ever think about that or what they're doing. It feels extra special because I get to go in my locker room and see how happy our kids are. And they were really happy, and boy, we needed that right now. And we had lost 3 in a row. And the 2 we understood, Thursday we didn't understand, and that can bring you down at this time of the year. This has got us uplifted again, and now, we go to Green Bay and Milwaukee. Tough. That's a tough road trip. I think the only team this year that's won at both those places is Wright State won both of them, but nobody else has. Northern Kentucky didn't. So it's going to be tough, but we're going into it on an upbeat. We still have a chance to. Who knows what we can do? This league's so screwed up, you have no idea. But we lose tonight, the top 4 is probably out of it. But now we're still battling for that bye in that home game, and it's worth battling for.
You've talked in the past about Rocket Watts being one of your better defenders. Tonight, down the stretch, you had O.C. Price.
Rocket got hurt.
Rocket's hurt.
Okay. Rocket. I put him out there, and he went for about 3 or 4 possessions, and he came over and he said he can't do it. Somehow he twisted an ankle in warm-up. I mean, we've had the weirdest stuff happen to us this year, but he twisted an ankle in warm-up, and you knew he wasn't right early in the game. And I, kind of told him to man up and play through it. And Chris did not tell me he couldn't go, so I'm going to try and push him through it because we needed him. And I sat him early in the second half. I brought him down. I said, "Can you go?" And he said yes. And he probably had 3 or 4 possessions. Came back and said he couldn't do it. And that's why he wasn't out there. If he was healthy, he'd have been out there defensively. But Osei made the play of the game. He made the play of the game. So that's what good teams do. You pick somebody else up. When somebody can't do something, you pick it up. And Osei hasn't had the best sophomore year, but boy, that was huge. That play was huge.
Coming off the loss.
And Keaton made the 2 free throws too, right? It was the play, and then I almost wish they hadn't called the foul because Trey got the rebound and was laying it in, but Keaton made it.
Coming off the loss in the last game, you talked about not even really sure what happened. The first 6 minutes of this game, a lot of energy from your team, especially on the defensive end. Obviously, a point of emphasis for you all just to start the game with the right pace. What happened after that where you kind of, things flipped?
Well, we gave them some runouts with turnovers. We had 10 turnovers at halftime. And bad shots and missed point-blank shots and just an offense without a flow, and we let them hang around. And if they can't score, they had 3 points with about 9 minutes to go in the half. And if they can't score and you're scoring, that ruins the team. But if you, I'm sure they went into the under 12 timeout and said, the coach said, this is as bad as we can play, and look, we're only down 3. You know, and they're looking at it going, oh yeah, we're good. You know, and that's really what it was. And then 2 guys came off the bench and we lost them. We lost focus and we lost them, and they made 3. I mean, they're the worst 3-point shooting team in the country, and they were 5 for 6 from the 3 at halftime. Again, the arena. It's a great shooting gym. So I'm not sure if anything changed other than we should have been up 22-4, 22-5 or whatever, and we weren't, and we gave them hope. So that's really what it is. But you know, that come out and play thing that happens to every team in the country. What happened to us Thursday night happens to every team in the country. You cannot come out 31 times and play like we did defensively the first 5 minutes, or like we did at Youngstown, or like we did at Rock. There's going to be those days that you just don't have it. The reason it hurts us is because we're so challenged on offense. You know what I'm saying? Thursday, you know, they got out to 11-2. We kind of cut it back, and then we couldn't make a shot. And on the nights that you don't have it defensively, you got to have it on offense. And we're not that kind of team. That's why we're going to be inconsistent. Winning 12 in a row probably is never going to happen for this group of guys. But we surely can win 3 in a row. We've proven it already. We can win 5 in a row. And basically, we're either going to have to win 3 or 4 to achieve our goal. And I'm very confident we can do that. But asking us to win 8 or 10 or 12 in a row probably won't happen unless 54 points and a half. If we can consistently start doing that, then maybe we could have a bad defensive game. Does that make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay.
Coach, 25 games into this season. How do you coach a stagnant offense out of a stagnant play?
Well, what I've tried to do recently with it is, usually my style is run our stuff, run our base offense in the first half where it's down at that end. The defense is always better in the first half because you're in front of the bench. Guys on your team are telling you where a guy is, and especially when you play zone. And then as we get into the second half, I call a lot of sets. What I'm trying to do now is call sets off the whole game, which I don't like, but that's my answer to you. That's how I'm trying to manipulate it. If you break them off and don't run them, like I got mad at Rocket. I called a set on like the second possession of the game, and he took the ball, went the length of the court, shot one of those floaters and missed. You know, we just can't have that. And you know, they come here because I'm a coach that allows them fluency into play. I mean, if you talk to people, that's why they come. Offense, you know, we're supposed to be an offensive program. But because we're struggling, I'm trying to take more of control of it, and it's a work in process.
Any other questions from this group? Okay, thanks, Coach.
Thanks everybody. That had to be kind of exciting, huh?